Dear students, after studying this module, you shall be able to know what prison is, learn what prison reformation is, evaluate the prison statistics, and analyze the change in prison structure and prisoners. We shall start with the introduction now. It is very necessary to control the social behavior of an individual in a society for maintaining social order and stability. The abuse of those social norms on the land of the law described as crime. That's why punishment is required for compelling people to conform the social expectations. The punishment may be physical, economic, social, or psychological, causing mental suffering as in imprisonment, according to the nature of crime and described as per Indian law. Prison. The imprisonment method, which originally means of detention till the trial was completed or a debt was paid, is now more frequently used for all crimes except light misdemeanors. With change in time, prison's functions has also improved from supervisory to forcible to corrective. Earlier, prisons were mainly used as penal institutions. No consideration was given to difference in age, gender, type of offense, criminal history, or psychological state of the criminals. After the references of the Jail Reforms Committee of 1919, the situations in prisons progressively improved and prisons came to be used for corrective purposes, that is, via teaching offenders the moral and social values through education, work discipline, and moral instructions which help them bringing up as normal citizens. The elementary purposes of jails nowadays in India are given as: first, social isolation and confinement. To separate a criminal from civilization because he has proved to be a threat to its organization, stability, and cohesion, and to keep him out of circulation and so securely confined that his deviation from law does not disturb the harmony of mind of the man in the street. Second, repentance, to keep an offender in an isolated place where he could ponder over the consequences of his wrong deeds. Third, punishment and deterrence, to cause some pain and suffering on an offender, that is, some punishment for violating legal norms, so that criminals should be worse off than the poorest of honest citizens. Law-abiding individuals must be satisfied that lawbreakers are penalized and they are being protected against the threat of recidivism, and members of society may be deterred from committing crimes. Fourth, protection, guarding public from prisoners by pointing out persons who violate laws and stigmatizing them so that others are warned against them. Fifth, reformation, to change offenders' values, motivations, attitudes, and perceptions, and to re-socialize him according to the community. According to Tapan P. in 1951, the objective of prison education in its largest sense would be the socialization of the convicts by diverse, vulnerable, and expressional doings with stress on person inmates' needs. The aim of this programmer is to return of these convicts to society with an aspiration to work themselves as good citizens and with the skill and knowledge that will give them an equitable opportunity to uphold themselves and their children by honest labor. Now we shall see the structure of prison. Prison structure. In 1784, the British Parliament authorized the East India Company to regulate India, and meanwhile then some attempts were made to introduce reforms in the administration of law and justice. At the time there were 143 civil jails, 75 criminal jails, and 68 mixed jails. Prisons could be distributed into three types: that is maximum security prison, medium security prisons and minimum security prisons. Minimum security jails. These are called open jails or wall-less prisons. It still functions in many states. The detailed description of these jails is described later on in this module. Medium security jails. They were known model jail. Three important characteristics of model jails which differentiate them from others are Panchayati Raj system, in which the management of the jails is vested in the inmates, the wage scheme, in which the convicts were rewarded salaries for the effort given to them, and the canteen system, in which the jail canteen tracked by the convicts on no profit, no loss basis, providing vital stuffs of everyday use like tea, oil, soap, beedis, etc. to the convicts within the jail itself. First two such model jails were located, one at Lucknow and the other at Ajmer. But now both these jails were converted into central jails. It was due to administrative problems created by Panchayat system, and the cafeteria also incurred losses. Now third, maximum security jails. In India, there are four types: central jails, district jails, sub-jails and special jails. The central jails are meant for the offenders imprisoned for more than 1 year. First central prison was constructed at Agra in 1846, and it was followed by the construction of central prisons at Bareilly and Allahabad in 1848, at Madras in 1857, in 1864 at Bombay, Alipur, Banaras, Fatehgarh and at Lucknow in 1867. The district jails for offenders imprisoned for 3 to 6 months and sub-jails for offenders sentenced to less than 3 months imprisonment. Special jails are meant for juveniles, females and political prisoners. Central jails functions as correctional institutions, while the district and the sub-jails function as punitive institutions. The number of central jails in every state in India varies from 1 to 6. The district jails are located at the headquarters of districts or subdivisions and are classified as A category, B category and C category district jails. Prison management. Prison administration is a state subject under the Constitution of India. Inspector General or Director General of Prisons, that is IGP or DGP, is the overall in charge of all jails in a state. He is assisted by Deputy Inspector General of Prisons, DIGP. Different states have adopted different patterns of jail administration. A central jail is in the charge of an officer of superintendent rank and a district jail of deputy superintendent rank. Each jail has jailers and wardens. In central jails, some inmates are promoted as convict officers, that is COs. The convict officers are assigned supervisory work in the jail. Since most of the corruption in jails is attributed to the COs, some jail reform committees have recommended abolition of these posts, but they are still in practice. A central jail is divided in wards and a ward into barracks. A number of wards in each prison varies from 8 to 15, and the number of barracks in each ward varies from 3 to 4. Each barrack accommodates 30 to 50 prisoners. Total number of jails in 1986 was about 1,100, while at present in 2013, according to NCRB data, it increases to 1,391. Total number of jail inmates reported in the year 2013 was 4,11,992, out of which total convicts are 31.5%, that is 1,29,608, in which trials are 67.6%, that is 2,78,503. Detainees are 0.8%, that is 3,113, and others are 0.2%, that is 568. From the total jail inmates, the female ratio was only 4.4%, that is 18,188. The highest number of jail inmates, that is approximately 83,518, was reported from Uttar Pradesh, followed by Madhya Pradesh, that is the number is 34,708, Bihar, the number is 31,259, Punjab, the number is 27,449, and Maharashtra, the number is 27,400. Chhattisgarh reported highest overcrowding in prisons, followed by Delhi. Now we'll see a table where the distribution of jails and their capacity is mentioned. Jail type, total number and the capacity. Jail type, central jails, total number is 130 and the capacity is 1,51,421. District jails, 346, the capacity is 1,26,909. Sub jails, they are 718 number and the capacity is 46,993. Open jails, 53 number, the capacity is 4,316. Women jails, 19, capacity 4,827. Bostel schools, 21, capacity 2,438. Special jails, 38 in number, capacity 10,490, and other jails are just 4 in number and the capacity is 465. At the end of the year 2013, 64,996, that is 50.1% convicted prisoners were in the age group of 30 to 50 years. 41,572, that is 32.1% convicts in the age group of 18 to 30 years, and 23,013, that is 17.8% convicts were 50 years or more in their age. In case of under trial prisoners, 3 were in the age group of 16 to 18. 1,30,317, that is 46.8% in the age group of 18 to 30 years. 1,17,555, that is 42.2%, were in the age group of 30 to 50 years, and 30,574, that is 11%, were 50 years or more in age. The number of convicted prisoners has increased by 1.4% in 2013, that is 1,29,608 over 2012, where the number was 1,27,789. And the number of trial prisoners under murder charges increased by 9.9% in 2013, where the number was 60,110 over 2012, when the number was 54,715. Now we shall discuss about the prison reforms. Mahavarkar in 2006 reviewed in detail about the history of prison establishments in India and subsequent reforms, in which he mentioned that modern prison in India originated by T.B. Macaulay in 1835. A committee, namely Prison Discipline Committee or Indian Jails Committee, was appointed, which submitted its report in 1838. The committee recommended increased rigorousness of treatment while rejecting all humanitarian needs and reforms for the prisoners. On the behalf of recommendations of the committee, central prisons were started and constructed in the year 1846. In 1864, the Second Commission of Inquiry into Jail Management and Discipline made similar recommendations as the 1836 committee. But the two significant changes were made by this committee. First, jail manual was framed in 1870 and segregation system was introduced in prisons, segregating males from females adults from children and civil offenders from criminal offenders. In 1888, 4th Jail Commission was appointed, and on the basis of its recommendation, a consolidated prison bill was formulated. According to this, the under trials were segregated from convicted criminals and the habitual offenders from the casual offenders. Provisions regarding the jail offences and punishment were specially examined by a conference of experts on jail management. In 1894, the draft bill became enacted as law. Now we'll discuss about the Prisons Act of 1894. On the basis of Prisons Act 1894, the present jail management and administration operates in India. This act hardly has undergone any substantial change, but after all of this, the process of review of the prison problems in India still continued. First time, most significant recommendations were given in the report of Indian Jail Committee in 1919-1920 was reformation and rehabilitation of offenders. In 1951, the Government of India invited the United Nations expert Dr. W.C. Reckless for studying conditions in Indian jails and to suggest policy reforms. Reckless suggested in his report titled Jail Administration in India for transforming jails into reformation centers, and he also recommended changing in outdated jail manuals. Second, Model Prison Manual. In 1957, Indian Jail Committee prepared a Model Prison Manual and submitted its report in 1960. This report consists forceful pleas for formulating a uniform policy and latest methods relating to jail administration, probation, aftercare, juvenile and remand homes, certified and reformatory schools, brothels and protective homes, suppression of immoral traffic, etc. Present Indian prison management is governed according to the MPM 1960. In 1972, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India appointed a working group on prisons on the behalf of the Model Prison Manual, which mainly focuses on need of the national policy of prisons. It also gives recommendations with regard to the classification of offenders and laid down the principles. In 1980, the Government of India appointed an All India Jail Reform Committee under the chairmanship of Justice A.N. Mullah, which submitted its report in 1983. In 1987, Government of India appointed the Justice Krishna Iyer Committee to undertake a study on the situation of women prisoners in India. He recommended induction of more women in the police force in view of their special role in tackling women and child offenders. In year 2000, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India appointed a committee for the formulation of a model prison manual. This manual was considered as a pragmatic prison manual to improve the Indian prison management and administration according to the international standards. Then some of the suggestions that were given by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has given the following suggestions in the last 20 years. First, assigning congenial work. A prisoner should be assigned congenial work which gives job satisfaction. Second, remuneration. A prisoner must be paid a reasonable fraction of remuneration by way of wages for the work done, since unpaid work is bonded labor and humiliating. Third, meditation and sports and games. Self-expression and self-realization have a curative effect. Therefore, any sports and games, artistic activity or meditational courses will stimulate prisoners' creativity and sensitivity. Fourth, parole release. At every 3 months for at least a week, punctuating the total prison term, a guarded parole release is given. Fifth, therapeutic outlook. To look out the tensions and to balance them, therapeutic outlook is prevail in the prisons, since brutal incarceration of the person merely produces lacerations of criminals' minds. The direction of prison reform is towards humanization. For this orientation, courses were introduced for the prison personal. Sixth, legal assistance. Legal assistance to a poor accused is a constitutional imperative. Seventh, human treatment and protection of fundamental rights. If a person is incarcerated, it does not mean that inhuman treatment may be meted out to him and he be deprived of his fundamental rights. Prison officials cannot resort to oppressive measures to curb the political beliefs of their opponents. A prisoner also has a right to acquire, hold and dispose of property. Eighth, handcuff. A prisoner in transit between prison and court should not be handcuffed except under special conditions which have to be justified before or after. Ninth, grievance boxes. Grievance deposit boxes shall be maintained in the prisons which will be opened as is deemed fit. Suitable action taken on complaints will be made. Visits by magistrates. District magistrates and session judges shall personally or through surrogates visit prisons in their jurisdiction and afford effective opportunities for ventilating legal grievances. Now we will discuss about the open prisons. Open prisons are also known as minimum security prison, open, camp or prison without bars. It is because of these four reasons open to prisoners, that is inmates can go to market during the day but have to come back in the evening. Open in security, that is there is absence of precautions against escape such as walls, bars, locks and armed guards. Open in organization, that is working is based on inmates' sense of responsibility, sense of self-discipline and sense of self-confidence. And open to public, that is people can visit the prison and meet prisoners. It is a kind of authority and the nature of management transferred to the inmates and the degree of freedom from physical restraints. To escape, that should be the real measure of openness of an open prison. First open prison was established in Switzerland in 1891, in the United States in 1916, in Britain in 1930. In India, it became functional in 1905 in Bombay Presidency. However, this prison was closed in 1910. In Uttar Pradesh, first open prison was established in 1953 as an open prison camp for the construction of a dam over Chandraprabha River near Banaras, now Varanasi. After completion of this dam, prisoners were shifted to a nearby place of constructing the dam over Karamnasa River. Furthermore, such type of experiments were performed and by the success of these temporary camps, a permanent camp was started on March 15, 1956 at Mirzapur with a view to employing prisoners on the work of carrying stones for Uttar Pradesh government cement factory at Chark, Mirzapur. The strength of prisoners in this camp is around 800. Sampurna Anand Shivir is another permanent huge camp established in 1960 at Sitarganj in Nainital district of Uttarakhand state, formerly part of Uttar Pradesh. The camp staff at present consists of 1 superintendent, 5 jailers, 12 deputy jailers, 16 assistant jailers, 3 assistant medical officers, 6 pharmacists, 126 wardens and accountants, etc. Camp has a capacity to accommodate 1,000 prisoners. In 1996, there were 12 open prisons found in 12 states of India, but now in current scenario, it has changed and increased in number to up to 53. That is in 16 states, open prisons. The capacity of open prisons is currently 1.2%, that is 4,316 of total prison jail inmates of the country. Highest number of open jails were reported in Rajasthan, that is 23 open jails. Maharashtra has 10, followed by Kerala 3, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu 2 jails each. The remaining 10 states, Assam, Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Punjab, Uttarakhand and West Bengal have 1 open jail each. Existence of such jails was not reported from any of the union territories. The highest capacity of inmates in open jails was reported from Maharashtra. The number is 1,372, followed by Rajasthan. The number is 651. Adjustment of inmates in prisons. Prison inmates are categorized as convicts, under trials and detainees. According to NCRB database, the percentage share of convicts, under trials and detainees inmates was reported 31.5%, 67.6% and 0.8% respectively at the end of the year 2013. Being in prison, it means that offender is deprived of many rights and privileges, as well as the loss of social status he was enjoying in his outer community. Deprivations. According to Skies 1958, on being imprisoned, a criminal faces the problem of A. Deprivation of liberty, B. Deprivation of privileges, C. Deprivation of emotional security, and D. Deprivation of heterosexual relations. Donald Klemner in 1940 has described prison as a community of a person of one sex, a community where all persons have been stigmatized for violation of law by the broad society. The people have no confidentiality and no consensus for common goal. It is a world of individuals whose daily relationships are impersonalized and who hold arrogances which are destructive or assaultive or sexually unusual in nature. It is a world of I, me and mine. Its persons are bitter, revengeful and informally uneducated. In a prison, social systems functioned as the inmates compete and cooperate with each other, love and hate each other, and vie with each other for privileges, power and prestige. Inmate system. Inmates develop a set of norms and procedures which are also called as prisoners' code, inmate code, inmate system or social codes in prisons. Some instances of the prison code are always unite with other convicts, don't criticize or discuss or argue with other prisoners, don't obstruct with the benefits of other inmates, don't have any sureness in officials, don't reveal secrets to officials, etc. The inmate codes serves four main functions. First, it maintains cohesion among inmates. Second, it creates self-confidence in inmates. Third, it enables inmates to face jail officials. And fourth, it lessens the problems of imprisonment. Now we'll end this module with the summary. Prison institution is one of the main constituents of our criminal justice system. Jails, however, for a small or longer period are places of living for both accused as well as convicts. Nowadays, social observation towards the convicts has been changed. That's why the institutions and greater consideration is given to upgrade the situation in prison to change the prisoner's attitude towards life and to integrate them in the society after their release. Every year on regular basis, a comprehensive database has been established by NCRB on all the aspects of these institutions in relation to the prison activities and plannings which prove to be really helpful in every means to the prison administration. Improvement of prison conditions will not indicate that prison life should be made soft. It means that it should be made human and sensible. Thank you.